KOTOR fans, after 21 long years, I want to rejoice. I really do, but I don't want to jinx it. Because for the first time in a long time, we may have hope. Last night at the Game Awards 2025, we saw our first look at Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, and it looks really good. It was only a cinematic. There's no gameplay. The game is in pre-production, but I want to talk about what we learned, what we have to look forward to, dive into some interviews, and get an idea of if this is actually the real deal. Now, the first thing you need to know is that Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic is set to be a single-player, role-playing action game. And it's going to be a spiritual successor, not a direct successor, to the KOTOR franchise. So you shouldn't expect the same narrative, characters, all of that. That's going to be done away with, and we're going to be entering into this new epic adventure that's set at the end of the Old Republic era. Now, there's actually an article from StarWars.com, and the first line of the article, which I'll quote right here, is, "In Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, step into the role of a Force user on a journey through the galaxy on the edge of rebirth at the end of the Old Republic." So essentially, we're this Force user who can choose to go light side or dark side, and we're exploring this era that's right at the end of the Old Republic and getting right close to the High Republic era, which is the last one before the movies take place, which hopefully you're familiar with. Now, in the trailer, we see what we can assume is our character landing on an unknown planet, and they do a good job of hiding their face, which I think, although not direct confirmation, is hinting at the fact that there's going to be character customization in this game, similar to the older games, so you can choose how they look. And they see this Sith ship out in the distance, which is a Sith Interdictor class ship that could be any ship, although it's also possible it's the Leviathan from the original games. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case because they do emphasize this is going to be a new story with new characters. It's going to be different from the original games. It is not a direct successor. Now, as far as the game's development is concerned, there's actually some pretty good news here. Casey Hudson is the CEO of Argonaut Studios, who will be developing Fate of the Old Republic. And if you don't know who Casey Hudson is, he was the project manager at BioWare on KOTOR and the Mass Effect trilogy. Now, that doesn't mean his record is spotless. He did serve as director for Anthem, and we all know how Anthem's going. But there's another glaring problem. His studio, Argonaut Studios, was founded July of 2025, which is just a few months ago. And with that being the case, it's going to be a long time before we see this game. Like, a long time. Now, Jason Schreier has commented on this and said that 2030 is an optimistic guess, which would mean you're probably seeing Elder Scrolls 6 before you're seeing FOTOR. And at that point, I mean, take a page out of Todd Howard's book and release it 7 years before you start making it, for goodness sake. However, in the process of making this video, wouldn't you know it, Casey's actually chimed in on this and said that FOTOR's coming out before 2030, which is good if it means that they've got a plan or maybe further along than we've anticipated. But here's the thing. The fact that we've seen this happen before with the KOTOR remake and how that's delayed indefinitely, and that's just a remake. This is its own game. It's so much more ambitious. There's so much that can go wrong between now and launch. It's very concerning, and I don't think we should be putting out a trailer now for a game that isn't even made yet. Now, looking at the end of the trailer, we can see here that these cinematics were made using Unreal Engine 5, which isn't direct confirmation that this game is going to be made with Unreal Engine 5, but it'd be kind of weird for them to make the cinematics with it and then switch over to a different title. Like, that just seems like a waste of time. So, yeah, it's probably going to be made with Unreal Engine 5. Now, I know a lot of people, including myself, have fears surrounding Unreal Engine. There's that Unreal look and, of course, common performance issues. So, we'll see what happens, but it really comes down to a developer-by-developer basis. We've seen great games made with Unreal, like Arc Raiders, and we've seen bad games made with Unreal. It's just going to have to be a wait and see. Now, my biggest concern is that this is Argonaut Studios' first game. And they could put out a banger. They really could. But with a new studio and a new team of people, a lot can happen. So me personally, until I see some real gameplay, I'm not going to get too hyped about it. I was excited at the announcement of the game.
Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic is a brand new single-player action role-playing game set in the Old Republic era.
Yes! But that time is over. Until we see gameplay, I'm going to be a bit hesitant because I don't want my heart broken twice. Now, one of the questions that I still have, which I think was answered, but not really directly, was if we'd see turn-based combat making a return in this new installment. And I don't think that's going to be the case. Based off of the description that they gave for the game being a single-player role-playing action game, that sounds to me like we're getting real-time combat. And it's not the end of the world. Like, I would prefer turn-based combat. I loved it in the original KOTOR. And heck, even games like Expedition 33, which won 9 of the awards at the Game Awards, including Game of the Year, I think that was great as turn-based combat, and they pulled it off really well. So I don't have an issue with turn-based combat like some people do, and I actually think it can work really, really well. You let me know in the comments if that's a hot take, but I'm kind of disappointed to see it go, but I'm open to what they may do with real-time combat. Heck, it could be pretty fun. I think that we've seen plenty of examples like Jedi Fallen Order of real-time combat being good. And for a story game like this, heck, if they can do it well and make it feel really nice, then I'm all for it. And what that really harkens back to is what really matters when it comes to KOTOR, and it's going to be that story. It's going to be that world building. I mean, when you think of the original KOTOR, you don't just think of turn-based combat. You think of the different planets you can visit, that like crazy twist by the end, which I won't spoil if you haven't seen it. And you think of like all the cool dialogue options. I mean, there was some really funny writing in the original games and some really funny characters you meet in different places. What you don't think of is the spacewalk. I mean, we try to wipe the spacewalking. Do not ever put us into that slow of movement ever again, please. Don't bring that to the new game. We don't need that. But when you think of everything else, what made those games so good, it really had to do with the storytelling and the world building and all of the things that just made it feel so rich and such a great world to spend time in. And I want to see that. I want to see that in this new installment. And at least from, again, the article, StarWars.com, I'll have it linked down below in the description. It says, for us, this new project is about honoring that legacy by creating something in the same tradition of a deep, cinematic, choice-driven role-playing game. And that sounds very good. And I think that's the right focus. And things like being able to change your lightsaber color and craft your character with different stats is, I think that's pretty much obvious. Like, yeah, we're going to get stuff like that, but the story has to be good. Because if it's not, oh boy, it's going to be rough. It's going to be really rough. So that's my thoughts. That's what I want. And we'll see if they can deliver. But I'd like to hear your thoughts as well on this whole fotor announcement. So feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'll be reading through them. And if we haven't met before, my name is Luke. I'll be covering gaming news on this channel. So if you fancy, stick around. I'll be playing games over on my Twitch channel. So if you want to chat, chill, hang out, and talk video games or heck, anything else, I'll have those links in the video description. You guys take it easy, and I'll catch you around. See ya.